Hodson here today in the bodybuilding.com kitchen, showing you how to make a recipe that I make a lot of mornings, and it's my blueberry protein pancake. This is a really good recipe if you're getting tired of the same old egg whites and oats. This uses the exact same ingredients, it just mixes them into a different way. And I know there's a lot of protein pancake recipes out there, but I like this one because it uses all whole foods and it tastes really good. These are all the ingredients that we're going to use for today's recipe. We're going to use 6 egg whites and a half of a cup of old-fashioned oats. I like the old-fashioned oats better than the instant oats just because they're a little bit less processed. The instant oats have actually been cooked and dehydrated to make them cook faster, and these haven't. They've just been rolled. We have 1/4 a cup of blueberries. You can use fresh or frozen, or you can substitute it for raspberries or strawberries. We have a half a cup of unsweetened vanilla almond milk, and just make sure that when you get the almond milk, you're getting the unsweetened vanilla kind. I like the Almond Breeze brand. It's 40 calories, has no sugar in it. You also, if you wanted, you could substitute milk, but I prefer the almond milk. And then we have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. This is just to help the pancakes rise a little bit. 2 packets of Truvia. This is to make them a little bit sweeter. I have half a cup of unsweetened applesauce and just a dash of cinnamon. And those 2 items we're going to save to the end and use it as a topping on top of the pancakes. So for today's recipe, I'm actually going to use a blender to mix everything together. And I'm going to start with my liquid ingredients. I'm going to pour in my almond milk. And then I'm going to do my egg whites. And I'm just going to crack these right into the blender. Now, some people just throw their yolks away into the trash can. I actually like to put mine in the garbage disposal. And I found that out the hard way. I used to just throw my yolks into the trash can, and one day I came home and my house smelled really bad and I couldn't figure out why. And it's because I left the yolks in the trash can for too long. And so now what I do is I'll just put them right into the garbage disposal. Some people like to feed the egg yolks to their dog, and I guess it helps with their coat and makes it a little bit shinier. And this is a really good breakfast recipe if you have kids. I have a 2-year-old and he loves this recipe. We eat it a couple times a week. And it's a really good way to incorporate some whole grains into their diet. And the blueberries have some really good antioxidants. Another thing you can do is you can make these in bulk on the weekend and then freeze them. I think they taste a little bit better fresh, but you definitely can freeze them. And when I do that, I just put them in a Ziploc bag, and then when I want to eat them, I stick them in the microwave for about a minute. All right, so we have 6 egg whites. Then I'm just going to add my oats. And I'm going to save the blueberries until we're actually in the griddle. I'm going to add my baking powder. I'm just going to do a dash of salt. It's probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon if you were to measure it. And then 2 packets of Truvia. If you want to eat the pancakes without any applesauce on top, you could add a 3rd pack of Truvia. It would make your pancakes sweet, so you wouldn't need to add the applesauce on top. And then I'm just going to blend this really fast. Quickly going to turn my skillet onto about medium-high heat, and then I'm just going to spray it with a little bit of nonstick cooking spray. And then I'm just going to take my batter, and this recipe makes 2 pancakes. 2 pancakes is 1 serving, so I usually just kind of eyeball it and put about half of the batter in the skillet, and then I'm going to take half of my blueberries and just drop them in the top. You can blend the blueberries in too if you want. I've done that before, but I think it tastes a little better this way. It makes them a little bit juicier. So we're just gonna let this cook. Usually you can tell they're ready to flip when there's bubbles in the center of the pancake. So I went ahead and flipped the pancake. We've been cooking it about 1 to 2 minutes on each side. And sometimes the first pancake doesn't flip quite as well as the second pancake. And it's because sometimes in the blender, the egg whites tend to kind of stay at the top and the oats fall to the bottom. but this one turned out pretty good. So I'm just gonna take the pancake and put it on my plate. I'll flip it, I guess. That side's not quite as pretty. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put my second pancake in. I'm just gonna blend it for just a second to get everything shaken up. Okay. I'm gonna spray my pan with spray. And then I'm just gonna pour the rest of my batter in. Make sure to get all those oats out. And I'm gonna add the rest of my blueberries. And we're just gonna let it cook about 1 to 2 minutes per side. You know it's ready to flip once the edges look like they're cooked all the way through and there's bubbles starting to form in the center of the pancake. All right, so we are done cooking our second pancake. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the plate. Oops. And as you can see, this is a lot of food. This is another reason I like this recipe, is because it's a really great way to start the day with a nice hearty meal. And then the pancakes are really sweet on their own, I think, and so a lot of times I'll actually eat these even without any applesauce on top. You can use sugar-free syrup if you want, but I prefer to stay away from that just because it has a lot of preservatives in it. So sometimes if I want a little extra something on top, I'll use some unsweetened applesauce. Just make sure you get the applesauce that says no sugar added or unsweetened, or if you read the ingredient list, the only ingredients are apples, water, and maybe ascorbic acid, which helps keep the coloring. So I'm just gonna go ahead, this is half of a cup of applesauce. I'm just gonna pour it on top. Sometimes I like to put a little bit underneath. And then I like cinnamon, so I'm gonna put a dash of cinnamon on top. You don't have to do that if you don't like cinnamon. Just sprinkle a little cinnamon on top. And there you go. You have a really good breakfast. 1 serving is 2 pancakes, and each serving has 6 egg whites and half a cup of oats, some blueberries, and some almond milk. So to get this blueberry protein pancake recipe, you can check out the link on the page below, and continue to go to bodybuilding.com to find all of my other recipes, as well as nutritional information, workout programs, and motivation.